G'day and welcome back to another episode of Tomo's Tune-Ups, proudly sponsored by Minisport. On this episode we are getting back on Chris's Mark III Cooper S. Folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button for all the best classic mini content down under I can deliver. So, like I said, we are working back on Chris's Mark III. This has been a bit of a staple lately as part of the channel. We've done an engine build, we've done the Rolston Classic and seen his immediate reaction for the 1330 engine build that we did. We had it towed into us to fix the left front wheel bearing, and now it is returned to us. Before we get into the episode, let's have a quick look at the videos in which Chris has sent me with the issue that he's got. In the meantime, I grabbed myself a cup of tea in my favourite Grinch cup. So, essentially, Chris is getting a few problems here. One is it sounds like a diesel tractor, and two is it is blowing a bit of smoke. Now, the smoke can be an issue, but it really depends on what we find. So we're not going to look too far into it straight away. We're going to do some really basic diagnosing here and try and work out what the issue is. And hopefully, with our fingers crossed, we can continue on and get this thing out of here. Essentially what I want to do to begin with first is work out if it has any vacuum leaks. A really good way to do that is to spray some carb cleaner around any of the intake and any other components such as the manifold or even the carburetors. This will ensure that if there is a vacuum leak, once the carb cleaner gets in there, it will then cause the revs to spike, meaning it will come up and then it will come back down. If, for instance, we spray it and nothing happens and it doesn't change, well then there's likely no air leaks whatsoever. So we'll move on to the next thing. A really good thing I do want to check as well is to make sure that the tune that we put in this 123 ignition system is still in there. I'm not sure if I saved it or not, but we're just going to double check it on my phone, make sure that's saved. It does have a setting that we enabled it to get to 500 RPM as a minimum RPM, which will then kick it back up to about 1100 RPM, I think, from memory. Thanks to Matty Matt for helping me out with that. And then we're going to go down the avenue of trying to figure out what the go is with this. So without further ado, let's get straight into this. Let's try and work out what this problem is so we can get him back on the road. We've just rolled it to the bottom of the driveway. We're just going to get it started and then we'll do a bit of a leak test. Alright, so there's no change there. So we've eliminated there being a vacuum leak. Next thing we might do is try and determine which cylinder it is. So what we're going to do here, we're going to start it up and we're going to disconnect 1 lead at a time. We're going to take it off. If we take it off and it changes, we know it's not that cylinder. We'll then refit it, go to the next one. If it doesn't change, then we know it's that cylinder. So it could be something like the plug, the lead, the rotor button, the distributor cap, could be the coil. I doubt it because it would be likely on all cylinders. Or it could be something to do with something inside the engine like the valve train, the head, or something in the block. These are a set of specialty pliers that enable you to remove HT leads without getting zapped. And to be honest, it doesn't really hurt, it just kind of freaks you out. So just do one at a time. So there's no real change there. Alright, so here that changed. It's not that one. Yeah, so I'd say it's running on 3 cylinders. Given that it's a 4-cylinder, if one is misfiring and then you disconnect it and then it dies, it's likely only running on 3 cylinders. Alright, that to me says it's number 4. So let's remove number 4. Essentially what we're going to look for here is I'm going to keep this as close to the head stud as we can. It should show an arc, so it should show a spark, sorry, between the two once it gets started. Alright, so we've got a pretty decent spark there, which is good. So now let's whip out the spark plug and let's have a look at it and see if it can give us a bit of an indication as to what it's doing. Now I should also note, Chris did tell me that when he drove it, it did seem like it was not only misfiring, but also the temperature gauge did go up. So if one cylinder's not firing, the other 3 are doing its job, and therefore it's not working efficiently. I'm just going to quickly check the dash pots as well, make sure they've got enough oil in them, because that can cause drivability issues. Yep, that's fine. Alright, so we've got Apprentice Kev here. He's going to whip that plug out. So remember, a spark plug does tell a story as to what's going on inside the engine. Hopefully it's not too hot for you, mate. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so definitely red in there. Yeah, so it could be the fact that it's not sparking. So we'll do the same test again. Instead of having the screwdriver in the end there, we're going to have the spark plug. Kev, if you just want to hold that, mate. So we've confirmed that it's sparking. So we know the plug is good. Seems to be a fair amount of compression there. You could actually feel the pressure coming out. Let's whip the plugs out and let's do a quick compression check of all the cylinders. All right, so I did an article on using a compression tester, and we did a compression tester how-to video on Apprentice Kev's 850. So if you haven't already, make sure to check it out. Let's go and do the comp test and see what it comes back at. Alright, so we have 0, middle of a donut. That is not good. Okay, so about 100 psi. Okay, so without going any further, we have pretty much established that cylinder 4 has the issue. Let's just go and do number 1 and 2, just so we can get a bit of an average sort of reading. Okay, so that's the same. That's 100. Alright, so number 4 is our issue. We know it's definitely sparking, so something mechanical is failing or has failed. Let's whip the rocker cover off and let's have a look at the valve clearances.
G'day folks, Tomo here from Tomo's Tune-Ups. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button to my channel. Not only will you be kept informed as to when I release new videos, but also it helps to grow my channel, my analytics, and most importantly, recommend videos to yourself and new subscribers.
What we're going to do is just hit the start button and just have a look at the valves and see what they're doing. Yeah. Right, so everything's moving, thank goodness. Doesn't mean though that it doesn't have a problem with its seating. That's where our issue seems to be. It's not holding compression, so the compression's got to be going somewhere. Let's have a look. What I'm looking at here is just the top of the spring seats, so like where the collets would go in, and just making sure that they're level, which they are. You can see these two as well. There's a little bit of tension on there. Everything's moving fine. bearings are, the arms are. There's a little bit of movement, which is fairly normal. That's not stopping it. I kind of have a feeling it's got a bent valve, or the valve seat's damaged. I might make a quick phone call and we can ask someone for some advice.
Hey Chris, how you going?
Good, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not bad.
It's good. I'm just filming an episode, so you're going to be on the show. We've got a bit of an issue. Cylinder 4 in Chris's Mini has zero compression. We've removed the rocker cover and watched the valves open and close. They're open and closing fine, but cylinder 4, zero.
Okay. Have you checked a leak down test?
Not yet, no.
A leak down test will tell you if it's rings or valve.
Yep.
The quick solution is put a bit of oil in the pot and do a compression test. If it comes up, if the compression does come up,
Yep.
well, it definitely rings.
Yep.
If the compression doesn't, it's got to be the head.
Yep.
The valve sitting level and everything like that when it's not on rock, not pushing the valves down when it's on rock.
Yeah, correct. So we've got them both closed at the moment, like both valves are closed, and the spring seat heights are exactly the same, both inlet and exhaust.
Okay, yep, all right.
So
like it sounded like in that video you sent me the popping in carburetor, wasn't it? Like sort of backfiring through the carby, wasn't it?
yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So I checked with a bit of carby cleaner to see if there's any vacuum leaks, and it didn't change at all.
Okay.
We then went and started the engine and disconnected 1 lead at a time. Cylinder 4 made no difference. By the time we got to cylinder 2, it cut out altogether, so it was only running on 3 cylinders.
Yep.
And then we pulled out plug number 4, and it was black and just smelled of fuel. So we tested the plug, made sure it was sparking. Everything was electronically working, just nothing's actually happening inside the cylinder that it's meant to.
Yeah, I'd say a leak out test will be the easiest thing to tell.
Yep.
But it could have burnt the valve.
Yep.
How many like cages are done? Is this one you did or?
Yeah, this is the one I built last year. So since we've built it, he's probably done. It's definitely over 1,000 k's, maybe max of 1,500 k's.
Right, so it's done stuff or work,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, we've just bed the engine in pretty much.
But in saying that, bit of things can happen. Like may have something like that, but I'd sort of say hopefully it's a valve.
Yeah.
And just fix the valves up. There you go again.
Yeah, well, that's the better outcome of the two.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, cool. We'll do that, and I'll report back.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Not a problem.
Awesome. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate it, mate.
No, mate. See you, Chris.
Cheers. Bye. All right, let's quickly whip the rocker cover back on. We'll chuck the plugs back in it, reconnect the plugs and leads, and then we'll run it inside the workshop and we'll start doing a further test. All right, so the gentleman we were just speaking to is my good mate Nathan. He was the one that sold me Grace's engine and has been building engines and racing minis for longer than I've been alive. So what I'm going to do here now is a leak down test. So this will determine where the leak is coming from. Essentially, it's just like a compression gauge, except we're going to be feeding pressure into it and then it's adjusting the pressure up through here. And essentially we want to see if it is leaking and how much compression it is holding. So in the meantime, we do need to get a fitting inside there. Okay, so before we connect it, we have to make sure it's in the set zone. I'm just going to wind that back just a fraction. Yep, Kev's going to connect it. You can do it. All right, so as you can see there, it's got a high level of compression. So that's closed, and you probably can't see, but there is smoke coming out from here and from the dipstick hole. And you can actually feel it as well.
You can also hear it.
You can hear it. Oh, you can hear it coming through. It might be out through here. Yep. So it's coming out through the breather system. And you can actually feel it through one of the spark plug holes, but it's probably because the valve's open, potentially. Alright, so we found our problem. It's very likely it's going to be bottom end, which is really concerning. So it could potentially be a broken ring, or it could be something to do with the head. Let's do some investigating, sit on it overnight and decide what we're going to do. Alright, so it's been a couple of days since that last part of the episode. It is currently 9:20 at night. I've got apprentice Kev turning up shortly to give me a hand to pull this thing apart. Essentially we're going to pull the head off it and inspect it. I'm fairly convinced that it is going to be a bottom end issue, only because I did a wet test off camera and it did not change whatsoever. It's disappointing, it's frustrating, it's upsetting, it's a lot of different things, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. We'll know shortly what the issue is and then we can address it. Until then, let's get a bit of time lapse going, get this cylinder head off, and look forward to Kev turning up. And just like a good blister, he always turns up late when all the work's done. Nothing visible, no sort of impact marks or damage that I can see. Fairly consistent along all the others. We do need to pour some fuel down the hole to see if it's leaking. Okay, right, and that. Yeah, I can't really see anything. There's nothing really that shows any sort of wear. Not sure what that is. Oh, it's been a bit of debris that's in there. Oh, small like piece of metal. Sorry, I'm trying to hold the camera and have a look at the same time. I'm not entirely sure what that is. Okay. There's no witness marks really to show if there's any sort of damage anywhere. Fortunately, I think it's going to be engine out to determine what it is. Can we
Maybe just turn over the engine. Just want to hit the start button. Just down there.
Yeah, we'll put this.
Okay. Okay, so everything's moving fine. Let's give that a wipe and see if there's any telltale signs of anything here. Okay, piston's clean. Yeah, 60 thou. So you can't see exactly any impact marks. Yeah, there's no movement, which is good. This one here, number 1, I had poured a little bit of oil down just to see if there's yeah, okay, so there's a little bit of movement there. I'm pretty sure that's just normal though. That's just it moving on the gudgeon pin. And forward and back. Okay. And then that one's quite tight. It might be that one cylinder is slightly bigger than the other. Okay. Okay, there's no movement there. Oh yeah. It might have just been the rings catching. Yeah, okay, so I'd say that's supposed to be normal, given the amount of movement that they've got. We'll just bring it back up. Yeah, oh. Oh, I just push the engine down. I guess another thing we need to look at is seeing if it's got any wear on the cylinders. Yeah, I can't get it to move at all. You just see the piston rings down there. It's really hard to see. I think the only way moving forward is to pull the engine and to figure out what the hell is going on. Try and get a closer look inside it. Not really the answer I want to hear, but Kev and I have another night ahead of us tomorrow to pull this apart. So we'll call it an episode. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we get to the bottom of this. If you got any tips or hints or tricks to be able to work out what the problem is, let us know. Did a wet and dry test. Nothing came back conclusive, other than the fact that he's lost compression completely. In the meantime, off camera, I will pour some fuel down the intake and exhaust ports and report back on that probably next episode. You might see it on my social media, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.